Hello and welcome back to another Roblox Spray Paint video. I'll be doing this illusion art here that I've actually explored beforehand. So quite a while back, a popular video I did was of this neon serpent, and I thought it was a really cool idea. I had a cool design back in that old video. And recently I finished a game called Elden Ring, and I think that their monster designs were just amazing. And I was super inspired to do a redesign of that old neon serpent that I did. I guess I can talk about how I even go about positioning and finding the angles for these types of illusion artworks. First is I go in-game and basically do like location scouting. I look for walls, I look for like different angles that they could possibly be in, and I basically take a screenshot of the area. Then I bring that screenshot into a drawing software, and from then on I can experiment as really as I can, because I could definitely do the sketching on Roblox Spray Paint itself, but because of its limitations, they're not too bad, obviously. Like, they're still quite good for a Roblox game. The drawing software just gives me that quick pacing of sketching and erasing. The work process is less tedious when it comes to designing, since if I make a sketch that I really like, I can drag it around with the software's tools, and I can undo, redo. I can easily just move bits of the sketch around until I'm really happy with it, and then I get to save it as an image to refer to, which I'm doing in the video. And now for this part of the video, I am blocking in the main colors, and I am going to be sticking to the main color palette, but you can see with the background, I'm going for this purple thing. Since with my previous neon serpent video, I just kind of showed the serpent snaking through the holes in the walls, but with the holes themselves in that old video, they were just kind of these black blobs. They weren't even really like detailed enough to be broken looking. They were definitely quite half-baked compared to the serpent itself. So in this video, we're not only redesigning the serpent, but also like the holes in the walls themselves, because they were really just kind of put there, and I really could have done a lot more with them in the old serpent video. And instead of just like typical broken brick walls, I decided to lean into something a lot more visually interesting and really give this serpent more context and make it really feel like it's more out of this world. Since another thing with that old serpent video, it was a really fun idea. I just feel like the serpent was quite static, even though it was like this snaky thing. In this video, I wanted to make it a lot more dynamic feeling, like the serpent was actually moving. Here I just wanted to expand on adding more texture to the serpent, which is another thing with the serpent video. I felt like I was a little too normal, because it was very snaky, but it was a little too plain. I crank up the weirdness in the design here again because I was super inspired by Elden Ring's monster designs, especially with one called Astel. If you look that up, if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't have to look it up, but that monster design, that boss design is just insane. It's so creepy, but in the best way possible. Of course, we are going to be continuing with the big eyes and the multiple eyes theme. With the old serpent design, I just thought the eyes were very floaty. It kind of doesn't make sense with their shape in that old video, where they were just kind of floating and then the serpent necks were just attached behind them somehow. So even though we're going out of this world with this kind of design, I just thought it would add stuff to make it feel a lot more comprehensible, and like, yeah, this would make sense that this is attached to this, etc. So yeah, leaning into the creepiness, I gave it like this more of a body, like this humanoid body, these eyes that are also wings. There's now this like visible attachment that these eyes are on compared to the old serpent design. And through these rendering parts, you can see that to show that the serpent is going through like the hole, or like the hole is overlapping above or like very close to the serpent, I added the necessary amount of shadows. If you do shadows right here, they can be really effective to show that there's more depth to the flat wall than there really is. Here I begin to do these strategic little details, especially the ones around the arms that I begin to do. It just helps exaggerate that form, that this is like this curved three-dimensional shape, and these simple little details really exaggerate that illusion quite nicely. I really double on the optical illusion stuff here, not only with the serpent, but the texture of the bricks coming up. So instead of the generic broken wall parts, I thought to really lean into the craziness of this design, I thought it would be super interesting to have these wormhole portals that kind of warp and bend the walls. Like the serpent is essentially swimming through the walls here, like going through dimensions. And I think this was a really fun part of the illusion, is also making the wall ripple around like this liquid. And yeah, I was just a really big fan of this idea. And to really sell that liquefied brick wall effect even more, I just add like this tiny touch of highlight on the parts of the wall to really exaggerate that melting look. And I think that was the piece that was missing to really sell the wall illusion really well here. So now with all these layers of transparency layering on top of each other, the server was lagging quite intensely here. Yeah, the server was really chugging at this point. But of course we need to add the neon. So this neon part was really fun because I knew that I couldn't just smack on the neon paintbrush. The lighting also had to be sold a lot more, so it was really fun to paint in the light where it reflected off the surfaces of the serpent, off the wall with the greens and the blues, etc. You're going to see in a few moments that I actually finally head into the background part where I add this like purple galaxy. Again, just those little bits of context that I think that the old serpent design was missing. I had quite a lot of fun with that one, with all the illusion stuff. And if you want to check out my old attempt of the neon serpent, you can check the video on the screen now. Like, comment and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you all next time.